Welcome guys to another hotspot analysis. Last time we did snooty steps and you guessed it, this time we're doing fencing field. I noticed where there's an insane amount of guides about weapons, loadouts and how to win games. It seems like no YouTuber is actually analyzing the map itself. I used to be quite the triad in the BR I come from. Recently switched to Fortnite and with chapter 5 made it my goal to become the best together with you guys. For that I'm analyzing everything about the game. I went through all the weapons so far in depth and now I'm going over the map. This is episode 3 of the series and fencing fields is actually way more complicated than I first hoped. So let me try to bring clarity over this spot. I'm going to do this by first splitting the city into different areas, second going through these areas in detail, third showing all car and loot spawns, fourth showing drop spots and drop rotations, and finally fifth, I'm gonna talk strategy, meaning important angles, rotations and how to play fencing fields. Alright, so first up, I'm gonna split fencing fields into different areas. We are gonna call all the area outside of fencing fields where the flow berries grow the outskirts. This will also involve this building back here as well as the one on the lake here. And on the other side, the building complex to the right of the screen here and even the area next to the river. Then next up, we have the winery, which will be all these buildings here to the left of the city, including the little restaurant where you can drink the wine. Then we have the broken building as well as the parking lot over here. The plaza, which is gonna be way bigger than the last two plazas, as well as the whole boss area. And then we have another full area below fencing fields, which will be the insanely large vault area that we call underground. There is a lot to talk about, so let's hop right into it. Okay, we're gonna start with the biggest part, the outskirts. What you will notice all over the place is that you will see these small little shacks here. And when you go inside, plenty of times you will see 5 nice little barrels down there. By the way, if you hit the floor, they will all break at the same time, saving you a lot of time. Also, do not forget to check the roofs, as the roofs pretty often have chest spawns. But of course, you're gonna be able to hear that. There's also gonna be these little wagons everywhere. You'll find loot in these. By the way, we started at the south side here, right next to this little train station and village. However, this is too far out. We can't analyze the whole map. Just keep in mind, this is also nearby in case you need extra loot. Then if we go up here to the next flowberry fields, you can see in the distance that on these white boxes, there's gonna be chests quite often. And of course, you're gonna find a lot of flowberries in the flowberry field. Lastly, we have a nice little zip line that helps us traverse to the rest of the outskirts quite easily over here. Once you reach this side, again, look out for the wagons, look out for the white boxes. This is where you find most of your loot. And of course, also look out for all the little flowberries because they're super easy shield for the early game. And honestly, the extra movement helps you loot faster as well. Then we got the next little shack. Guess what we're gonna find inside? Oh, by the way, there's also a zip line to the windmill area over here. So if you want to drop there, this is also a cool way to get to fencing fields or vice versa. And again, guys, we got shield barrels in here. Slurp barrels rather, sorry. And again, check the roofs for roof chests. When we go out, we are right next to the giant tree of fencing fields. It comes with a white box and usually has a chest on top of it. Right behind that, we have the lake with the loot truck and another little shack that comes without barrels, so no point going inside for me here right now. However, there's a white box that can have a chest, so you either find one right there or underneath the roof again. And further left here, we got another little shack with, you guessed it again, barrel spawns and roof chests. So what do you notice here, guys, in the outskirts is you get plenty of heal and shield for free everywhere, which is one of the main reasons, apart from of course Nisha Striker AR that we're gonna talk about later, that people like dropping here so much. It is insane to shield back up. Of course, you got the loot truck even here, the slurp truck, and yeah, let's transition to the other side. Right here, there's pretty much only fields, not even many white boxes, if any at all. So this is probably the worst area of the outskirts right here. We do have a little NPC patrolling here as well that you can eliminate for his weapon. A cool little building is this one, because this one comes with guaranteed flowberry and food box spawns. So another little nice building if you want to heal up. But to be honest, we got enough of that everywhere in fencing fields. So let's move on. We got this little gate building over here. I'll talk about it briefly later in the video when we finish the rotation through the outskirts here. But first up, let's talk about the building over here that I promised is also part of fencing fields. I'll explain why in a moment. What you need to know about this one, apart from the car spawn that I'll talk about later again, at the car spawns section of the video, is the barrel spawns. As you can see, you have 2 barrels right here, and you have another extra 3 barrels in the kitchen floor. Again, hit the kitchen floor to get the shield or heal faster. And when we go outside, there's a little building right next to this other lake over here. This normally comes with slurp barrels, but somebody already took it here. And you will also find plenty of boxes. I'm not sure what they call it, these blue boxes that always have shield or heal. And guys, this here is the main reason I count this as part of fencing fields, and that is because you're actually really close by just using this little jump pad. This will catapult you right up in the air, and you can easily make it back to fencing fields within seconds. By the way, there's almost always a chest spawn on the bridge as well, so look out for that. But then we have this little building complex. There is 3 things I really want to talk to you about. But before that, of course, there is plenty of loot everywhere around here. But in this little garage building, you will find, you guessed it, the barrels. And then in the roof here, you will usually find a lot of ammo boxes, as well as some extra loot spawns. People tend to not go and loot this room. So even if you come here later and you need loot desperately, check this out. And then the last little spawn is this little gaming room, which looks like a lot of fun, by the way. That also comes with a couple barrels. And yeah, I feel like it's always super useful to know all these barrel spawns, because it happens quite a lot that you run around and you're not full health, you're not full shield, and knowing this will make a difference. And then another really cool little spawn, why do I keep saying spawn? Spot. A cool spot is this little building. And you guessed it, guys, shield barrels inside, roof chest, white box outside, even 2 of them, by the way, a wagon. There's a lot of loot here. And again, flow berries all around you. I'll talk about this spot later when I talk about drop spots. And yeah, you also have a zip line getting you closer to fencing fields very fast. They are loud. Keep that in mind. People will hear you coming. And over here, we have another little building with a couple slurper barrels as usual. And then as I promised, we'll take a close look at this little, I don't know, I want to call it gate building. But to be honest, there's nothing interesting in there apart of a little cash register that gives you some extra money. No barrels in here. I know, it's a shame. Just a couple normal loot spawns. Next up is the Winery. This is the location in Fortnite if you want to get drunk, with this little restaurant in front here, followed by the brewery buildings, a little well, the tower. And yeah, let's get right into it. We are starting with this building in the back here. And as you can see right away, it has multiple levels. You will find loot both down here and up top if you go up the stairs. If you make a left, you will see the first entrance towards the underground. But we will cover all the entrances to the underground and the underground in the underground section of the video. So if you go right, you can find a door that will lead you outside. It's usually a chest spawn exactly right here. And yeah, the rest of this building is honestly pretty straightforward. The most complicated part will be the underground here. And yeah, let's hop over on the other side. As you can see, there can be loot in the well. And we have a little zip line that leads us into this tower, which, you guessed it, has barrels. This zipline is actually super useful. On the other side, it leads you to the other building, which is also partially a brewery, a winery, as well as the restaurant building. Let's start from the bottom again. It has a beautiful interior, not gonna lie. And again, multi-level looting. If you go up top, you will go to the restaurant, as well as the restroom for the guests. Look at that, guys. Isn't that beautifully designed? And then when we go back inside, you can find loot behind this. I really have no idea how to call it. And yeah, there's another entrance on the other side that will lead you to the restaurant as well. On the front side, you will have the bounty bot and a vending machine, which is really useful if you want to heal or shield up early game, or honestly any part of the game. And then don't miss the roof here as well. This is actually double roof, and it has really good angles on the rest of fencing fields. We'll talk more about it in the strategy section. Let's take a look at loot here real quick. It has a decent amount of chest spawns and an absolutely unreal amount of floor loot spawns. Keep in mind, guys, that these spawns are both also underneath in the underground section, which for you as a player does not make a difference. If you drop at any of these spots, you will naturally also loot the underground. However, I thought it would be important to say here for the sake of the video, almost half the spawns are underneath. Right next to the winery, we find the broken building. This building is actually pretty complex, and it also comes with the parking lot. But yeah, let's start down at the bottom. We have this beautiful room right here. This honestly looks like a restaurant as well. And yeah, you will find a couple loot spawns at the bottom here, as well as the stairs that will lead you up to the second level. Here you will find more loot spawns, but the normal way to get up here is from the outside, which you will also use to get into the roof. And this roof, man, is one of the most important POIs of all of fencing fields. You see it, you have insane angles in all directions from here, and it is my personal favorite sniper spot for fencing fields. Let's take another look at the first level. I really like the interior design of this building, honestly. They really did put a lot of effort into this. And yeah, lastly, you will also have a couple rooms here that will have bonus loot. And there's also one hidden room right behind this wall here on the side that you can only reach by breaking the walls. And yeah, again, this building mainly good for its sniper angles, but when you go outside, you can find a chest on a bench most of the time underneath this tree. And you also have that little zip line that brings you back to the winery. The broken building comes with an average of 7 chests if you want to count one next to the tree, and it does come with plenty of floor loot. Next up, we have the plaza, and as I said, this one is way larger than the other ones we had so far in Snooty Steps. And okay, while it might not really be larger than the one in Reckless Railways, there is way more happening. We have this little building right here that has plenty of loot spawns down below all the time, as well as when we head over here, we always have chest spawns right next to the Nisha statues here. And if we go beyond this here, we will see another entrance to the underground. But of course, guys, we will be covering this later, the last section for the areas here. And then there's one more thing I would like to talk to you guys about. That is yet another secret way to make it to the underground, but we'll talk about that shortly. Okay, the last area before we get underground is the boss area. I'm gonna start with the pool area before I show you the inside with actual gameplay, because that's gonna be way easier than flying through it. As you can see, there can be a chest in the water and at all the benches surrounding the pool. And you're looking at the boss area from the south side. I'll be going in all the way on the left door. The first thing we see going in is the little kitchen. It surprisingly does not come with food boxes. However, the first room to the right is the storage, and there you do actually find food boxes. If we make a left, we have this launch area and a couple ways out of the boss area again, or in if you're pushing. If we go back in, we will get into the library, and I'll talk about this later when we talk about the underground. We can go up the stairs to find a very large room that also has a bed. I kind of don't want to call this a bedroom because it's just too large. You will find plenty of loot in here. There's even a chest straight up on the bed. Don't forget to check the side rooms. They also have great angles on the plaza, by the way. I'm not gonna go up just yet, but right here you find the stairs to go up. If we go through this door, we get out on the other side. You find the little fitness room of Nisha. It comes with 2 slab barrels, kind of useful. And down here again, you find ways out. If you go out on the first level, you can easily reach the roof, which is super good. And one of the most played roofs in the game right now. You can also get in the ceiling. For example, with just one hit, you can break the boards right here and jump in. You can also take the stairs that I showed earlier. In the boss area, you find an average of 15 chests and a lot, and I mean a lot, of floor loot as well. As you noticed, I skipped the library. That's because this will be our first pass into the underground. If you destroy the bookshelf, you will find stairs that lead you straight to the vault, which is why this is most people's favorite way into the underground. However, there is so much more to say here. Let me show you guys a different way in. If we are on top of the plaza, you can actually destroy this right here to hop right in, but you will not be right on the vault. For that, first you would have to take a right, but we're going left first here. And here you get out at, you guessed it, the winery, exactly underneath the restaurant. So let's go back in. Wait, had to eliminate 2 people real quick. So if we go back in and go down, we'll be back where we started here. And this time we're gonna go through this door, which will lead us straight to the vault as well. And if we go the other way, we have multiple options. Let's go straight first. You can hop on here and get on 2 different levels here. If we go all the way up top, we will be at this building here in the corner of the winery as well. So if we go back in and this time go on the middle level, you will find this path that leads straight out up on the south side of Fencing Fields. This tunnel also comes with a secret passage right behind these barrels here, where you can find some bonus loot. And if we go back in and go all the way down, we can get back, I can't speak, TSK moment. We can get back underneath the plaza middle piece of the underground, and we are back at the vault right here. And then lastly, there's one more way back out or back in, however you want to call it. And that is if we go straight, we will find the, my opinion, coolest looking exit / entrance to the underground right here. here. I can't really pull out the loot on the sheet. However, there's a decent amount of loot here for sure. Okay, next up, car spawns. Before we get into the most exciting part, which will be drops, but not only drops for you, also for duos and squads. Before I talk strategy. First car spawn is, you guessed it, at the parking lot right next to the broken building. Then we have one that pretty much is always guaranteed at the winery. There can be up to 2 cars next to each other as well here. Then we got the little food building over here with the guaranteed food box plus flowberry spawns. Usually comes with fast cars as well. Then we got our building back here that I showed at the start when we talked about the outskirts, as well as the little building next to the lake. It can have a car towing this, I don't know, boat. Another one on the bridge right here, as well as in front of the building complex. And that's it for car spawns. Next up, drops. For this one, we will be using the loot map. And yes, we will begin with solos. And of course, on paper, you can drop anywhere. But I'm gonna split the map into slow drops, medium drops, and hot drops. Okay, let's start with the slow drops. This will be most of the outskirts, as you can look pretty far and you will be able to separate yourself from enemies, meaning you will usually get loot for free. The loot is pretty limited this way, but we'll talk about that in a moment. When we go over duo and squads drops. Medium drops, we only have 2. The building complex up here, as well as the 2 buildings on the lake, as this is a pretty popular drop as well. And then lastly, guys, the hot drops. First, we got the boss area. Second, we got the broken building. And third, we got the winery, meaning effectively the whole center part of fencing fields, everything apart from the outskirts is a hot drop. And guys, starting with duos, most of the outskirts will no longer be viable, as it simply does not have enough loot for 2 people at a time. The loot is too far spread, and the chances of one of you guys getting caught by enemies is still pretty high if you split up. So the only spots left that I have are the 2 spots up here next to the lake, as well as the building complex in the northeast. And it gets even worse when we talk squads. All 3 spots that are not in the center of fencing fields will also be crossed off the list, meaning we only have the center parts of fencing fields, the boss area, the broken building, as well as the winery left for squads. By the way, of course, in duos you can also drop there. Yeah, and this means if you're not playing solos, you are pretty much forced to play into the war zone that is center fencing fields. But this is why we all love the spot. There is action from start to finish here. You will have a minimum of 10 enemies every round here. So this honestly does not come surprising to me. Next up, strategy, the final point. But apart from drops, probably the most important point, I can really recommend dropping on the outskirts when you play solos. You will usually, as you guys saw at the start, get full shield for free, especially if you continue looting the outskirts, get the flow berries, and try to get decent loot before you push into the center of fencing fields, meaning the winery, the broken building, and the boss area. You will try to play roofs as much as possible. Do not push the boss area right away. People that are playing the roofs will have a huge advantage towards people that are not playing the roofs. So always make sure to keep an eye out for roof campers. All roofs are really good. We got the roof on the winery. To the right, then we have this building, which is also part of the winery, where we have the restaurant that I told you guys about earlier, with the double roof that has really good cover in all directions and angles in all directions. Even from within the roof, we can look at the boss area pretty nicely. The best angles in all of fencing fields are in the broken building. This roof here is absolutely OP. If you look through the main window, you can perfectly see the boss area and the plaza. You have insanely good angles here. On the broken side, you can see the winery pretty good. On the left side, you can see the outskirts. Anybody pushing in over the zip line will be in trouble, as well as people trying to get a car here from the parking lot. And then you have another angle for anybody pushing fencing fields from the north, for example, if they drop on the ruins. Yeah, this building is the absolute god spot for late game as well, if you ever fight here. And then last but not least, guys, the roof of the boss area is also super good. When you play it, listen to the zip lines, as you have perfect angles on both of them. And yeah, you really want to play this early game as slow as possible. If you push the wall too early, you will get third partied. Be patient when you play fencing fields, otherwise you're gonna get demolished. Wow, okay, this was more work than I expected. Guys, please, if you enjoyed the video or appreciate the effort I put into this, because it really was a lot, leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. And also, if you enjoyed it, I can really recommend my my latest video of the series, which was about snooty steps. Not quite as long as this one, but I put a lot of effort into that one as well. And yeah, more guides on weapons, locations, everything else coming to the channel. I am still a very small channel, and it's my dream to change that. So guys, join us here. I promise I will keep delivering good content like this. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.